Good afternoon, David. Here we are at episode 20 of No Art, No Life.
No art, no life. And you know, that is not only true, but it is very true. There are many levels of truth, and no art, no life, we are through. And if we do not start, this is David Duvall, this is Jack Cole, we are on Snapshots, what is it called?
Oh, this is YouTube, and we are also on Substack.
Please tell everyone to watch because we're getting more and more people involved. We're not talking about, World War III every minute and
Correct.
all of those horrible things that they talk about on news channels with these pundits?
Yes.
I hate these people, that they're making money talking the same thing all night long. It's ridiculous. Give us the money so we can promote ourselves, promote your fantastic novels.
Thank you.
Right now, can I tell them what you're writing about?
You may.
Right now, Jack is writing about something that drives me out of my mind, to see a tattoo on a human being.
Yes, I'm addressing myself to the mystery of that action. I'll say that as my kindly delivery right now.
Yes.
And trying to speculate as to why that would be, and an experience that I had recently that I will speak of further in the piece itself, but that I had told you in terms of encountering someone on the street who was so free of them that it astonished me in the appearance.
And they will have to read about it because the way you describe it at the subway, and this young woman there standing with really quite a little bit of clothing, and you could see very well. This was purity. The skin did not was not disrupted by these incredible and crazy looking things. I know that you may have a tattoo. I have been amazed at all of the people that I thought would never have such an abomination. They have them, and they have them in areas of their body which are ridiculous.
What do you make of it?
Well, I've been trying to make of it ever since I was a child, looking at the guy with the little one, in the cartoons.
Oh, you mean that's something that Popeye would have, do you mean?
Popeye, the sailor man, he had a
Yes.
little anchors
Yes.
away,
Yes, of course.
Little Olive, that little, girlfriend or whatever. Okay, that was a part. It said that he was a sailor.
Right.
But what's going on with, having devils painted on your face?
Well, what's amazing about Popeye is, you're right, it's a mark, even in his case, of the sublimation of personality, meaning that part of him that was an individual submitted to being a sailor, and we imagine that perhaps he may have been obliged to do that, and that it was a gesture of being part of something. But now people seem to do it as if they are asserting their individuality, when in fact it's the greatest act of submission I've ever seen.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, yes.
Because, as I say, the thing that I'm working on now submits the idea that it's so rare to find someone without it, that the only action of asserting independence aesthetically with one's body is to do nothing.
Well, of course, to do nothing. How dare? I mean, in all the major religions, it says, don't tamper with your skin, don't discolor it. Supposedly that was one of the differences between civilization and, just war paint.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I can't judge this. I'm not a judge of anything, and I don't want to be judgmental about something that is beyond the copycat stage in every country. This is not just an American phenomenon. You go to Italy and they're tattooed. Well, I want to know what the attraction is. I mean, if I saw the same thing on my wrist each day, I would become bored. I don't want to even walk home the same way twice.
It is remarkable that it's spread so far in cultures that we can't imagine are always sharing the same motivation except conformity. Of course, we have the notion of it in a Polynesian culture. We've talked about Moby Dick, and the character of Queequeg is covered in tattoos, but we understand that to be something that emerged for his culture from the myths of prehistory, and it has some opposite commandment from his religious order, whereas, as you were saying, that the religions of the West, for the most part, would prohibit it, and yet everybody seems to be masking themselves. And in fact, that reminds me
That's a
of...
good one, masking themselves.
Yes.
Why? Why though? What's the is the spirit of art so deeply entrenched and gone now from us that we have absolutely no choice but to show some semblance of aesthetic power by putting on what they call a tattoo artist's junk on your body? I mean, could you imagine yourself or Chopin or Leonardo being tattoo artists? It's overwhelming to me. And when I see this on the street, because I'm a volatile creature, I can't believe it. I want to go up and I want to say, why do you have this incredible mess that just looks like schmutz, as they call it?
Yes, and I'm always astonished. I grew up hearing from relatives, female relatives, that the great terror for their legs was the idea of the sign of a varicose vein. And I'll be on the subway coming here for one of these afternoons and see some poor young creature, and I think, wow, gosh, they're suffering early with what everyone dreads. And then I'll look, and of course I'll see it's a self-inflicted wound.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
And I want to, that's why we talked about you writing this. I've written myself a thing on tattoo, which is very funny, I think. I've never tried to publish it. I will read it to you sometime.
Okay.
But I'm really interested in a mind as deep as yours, to tell me something that I don't know from this article. That's what I want.
Okay.
And I want to know that all of our audience, tattooed or not tattooed, well, I want them to know that I don't know what you're doing, but it's up to you. I mean, I can't say I don't care, because it's an element of society which I consider extremely disruptive to moving forward to a love of great work, not of looking at a tattoo artist ridiculous. I mean, and the subject matter is getting crazier and crazier.
It is, and very much based on templates that are offered in the moment when someone strolls in, even when they ostensibly say it's personalized. It's funny, David, I was working in the yard back home recently, and something that I used to suffer from in childhood that I thought maybe I'd gained an immunity to, I have not, I discovered. I was trimming ivy, English ivy, and in its midst was poison ivy. And, well, here's the last semblance of it here on my wrist, you can see.
I can't catch it, can I?
No, you can't. But I could from the vine. And of course, when I woke up and I saw it, the first moment of reaction is characterized by an aesthetic dread that I'm presenting other than I feel what is my best, because my external most self, my most external most affect of what I hope will project what's in me, has been altered against my will. So it's as if people are acting against their will when they tattoo themselves.
So important you've just said that. They are, and if you ask them, and I have here and there, why, the answers have no understanding, no meaning. I just like that. Oh, it's just so much fun. Well, maybe at 20 it was fun to see some sort of, I don't know, goon on your breast or something. No, I certainly don't want my eye, which loves to follow a beautiful arm on a woman, or and if it's ruined by some extraneous graven image, my God, I mean, you've taken away a great sensuous pleasure from me. I can't be attracted to that beautiful arm or those beautiful legs if they're filled with gruesome subject matter. Please, dear audience, comment on this. as I said, I'm non-judgmental in the sense that, you know, I'm not trying to say don't do it, but I want to know why you're doing it.
It is curious. It's funny when I meet people who have them and then they ask me if I have one, which is always astonishing to me. And that must say how much I am unsympathetic, because at the moment I almost feel speechless. But I always give the same answer now that I've rehearsed it, that as a writer, I can't imagine not having the liberty to revise the things that I've said. And I always wait for an answer, and they don't usually have them. And then I'll make the analogy that wouldn't it be odd to visit an art gallery that was committed to one display for eternity? Even Thoreau talks about the grandeur of the forest is that it's as if it is like an art gallery that's constantly changing the pictures on display through the seasons.
Well, you've just hit it. I mean,
Mhm.
that alone would stop me
Mhm.
if where's the urge come from? The urge to do this has certainly, I would be stunned if I woke up one day and said, I want to have a tattoo of Brahms on my chest.
Yes.
Can you imagine Brahms having a tattoo of Beethoven or Bach?
I
One of
cannot.
The three Bs? Well, anyone that wants to enlighten me because I want to tell you the truth, I believe that it's above all a sign of great despair within
Yes.
the society. But I would like to know what the despair is exactly, because we've always had basically the same despairs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're always doing the same wars, we're always talking, I mean, you can't really watch the news because you've heard it all 40 years ago, or 10 years ago, or yesterday. It's horrible. So we continue doing always such limited action on everything. Now it seems that all we do is tattoo. Now 20 years ago it was getting bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I see movies all the time, and I watch them carefully, and I see that, you know, there were tattoo people long ago
Mhm.
that I didn't think were tattooed, and of course most of those, you know, if they were really stars like Gregory Peck, he's not going to have a tattoo that
No.
he can't remove.
Right.
You know, a fake tattoo, but to desecrate your skin, and this is not some racial thing. Every race, black, blue, green, every color in the mixed world of our diversity has tattoos.
Well, that also baffles me in terms of the sheer ability to read the tattoo. I'll be on the subway and see people with very, very dark skin who have them, and yet the image, of course, I can't make out because their skin
Yeah.
is so dark.
Yes, the skin.
It's as if they're asking me to read in a room with no lamp on. It's very baffling. That also,
That's very baffling and very, very startling, because I've also seen that many times, that the black skin doesn't take to making you see the tattoo very well. It just
Mhm.
looks dirt,
yes.
schmutz again.
And of course, I don't know if it's an English music hall song or it might be a vaudeville song, but I remember the song Lydia the Tattooed Lady,
Mhm.
which of course is intimating in an endearing way that this person of extremes may ultimately have found her man, someone who understands her. But we also pity her through the course of the song to a degree because we imagine she's something from a sideshow.
Well, she was from the sideshow.
Yeah.
And the interestingly, a movie recently, there was a sideshow,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy was taking a girl, and they were watching the exhibits, and he said, I want you to see this guy. He's the fat man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he looked fairly normal to
By
me.
today's standards, yes.
By
Uh-huh.
today's standards.
Yes.
Because you had never seen such
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
you see. And this is not a form of prejudice. We must get rid of this idea that everything we say or what we look at is also what we are. We become enamored with something that's beautiful. Well, you want to spoil it by some strange manifestation here, there, or everywhere?
Well, David, you just said that it's not a form of prejudice to make these observations.
Oh, no, no, no.
Mr. Emerson has the phrase, observation is fatal.
Observation is fatal,
Mhm.
yes. And when you observe, you are observing the what is, at least
Yes.
as long as you're sane.
Yes.
If you're not sane, you
Mhm.
never observe the what is,
Mhm.
in italics, as Krishnamurti would say.
Mhm.
So this is a major thing. Now, worst part of this is that if you're not someone that likes the idea that civilization can be summed up in some idiotic tattoo, and when I say they are everywhere,
Mhm.
it is extraordinary. I mean, people have said that they're on the tip of their, and on
Yes.
and on and on and on and on, my God. But what was I just saying about so I lost the thread, where I believe that we have to stop not saying what we want as long as we have the ability to say it, until a dictatorship has destroyed that.
Mm.
And for me, it is important to say, I don't like that.
Mhm.
I'm not interested in your, what is it called, PC, political correctness?
Sure, yes.
I have to express myself about that. I think that this great work of art by Beethoven is going to help you far more than you paying money to is it the word that's fascinating? Tattoo?
Could be, there's some exotic element to that.
Don't know, you just don't know. And
Yeah.
the media has made it legible for all of us, meaning
Yeah.
it's good. There are documentaries on it. There's no one that says this is absurd, or no Muslim would like this, or no Jew would like this, no Christian would like this. The big Western religions do not hail this.
Mhm.
Yet we're also theocratic now.
Mhm.
What is this about? I'm truly asking our public, which certainly is about now 1 billion people,
Mhm.
to write in, to subscribe, and to possibly just in a few words say, I just love tattoos. I wish they were there during the Dark Ages.
It is baffling. In fact, David, I'm wondering if there's a connection here. I had read to you earlier this phrase of Nietzsche, and perhaps there's a relationship here. If someone has a character, he will also have a set of experiences happening again and again. I'm wondering if the person who has a tattoo is actually afraid that they will not have the result that Nietzsche's talking about. So they imagine that if they imprint something on them, they gain character, and hence it will be permanent and something will happen to them again and again and again. And yet, of course, the rub really is that they're choosing a medium that is sure to perish with them. You would think if they really had the impulse to create, they would pick canvas, they would pick paper, they would pick stone. But they pick the most transient thing of all on which to reflect their spirit. And here, oh yes.
I walked in, you said, oh, a drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it's coming out, but here it is, just in lines. And that was fun.
Yes.
It's mine, I did it.
Yes. And yet what's
I'm not gonna put this on a tattoo on my huge stomach. And I also, talking about revision,
yeah.
I have every right, as it's mine, to tear it up.
Yes.
I may not like it next week.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I don't know if it's coming out, but I do know that it's a work of genius.
Understand, I agree.
And I am allowed to say that it's a work of genius, even though it probably is not.
Well, why would you think there's even a necessary qualification there?
There isn't.
I didn't think so.
There isn't. You
Yeah.
are absolutely right. That's a fault of modesty.
We all do that, but I just wanted to say that you have no cause to invoke that fault.
Thank you. And every piece I do that I save, every piece, and please do know that Jack and I are working on my next book called The Drawings of David Duval, and that may be in it. But there's also one that you can get on Amazon called The Paintings and Drawings, I think, of David Duval, right?
Mm-hmm.
Timp Publications, not too much money at all. And I would love you to see my work. Of course, I would love to have someone buy it, but I mean, knowing that buying one's lines or colors today is so obscure that they would rather have, maybe I'm jealous of the tattoo artist making his art alive, or really epidermical art dead upon the skin, and he's in there and he's respected not as a crazy man who once he may have been in a hut in a strange place, but that he's being paid real money to disfigure you.
Yes.
Please don't shoot me when you see me.
It needs to be said, because it's a wonder. As soon as I step out onto the street after we part today, it's harder.
Instantaneously you'll see a whole, and no problem. I would not wear a short sleeve shirt anywhere. You do, you're comfortable, you're muscular, you look like a Mr. America. I'm just falling apart. But I wouldn't let you see my arms. It's not pretty enough. And I love long sleeve shirts. That's a t-shirt, that's fine. I used to wear them. And I would not, of course, now wear them because my skin is not what it was when it was young.
Well,
however, I love the long sleeve shirt look. It is at least a little bit more dignified.
Yes.
I don't want to see skin on the street.
Well, I even think that this is unseemly in the long run, because we really do have to, in order really to show our personality, to a degree sublimate it, not with a uniform, but with a degree of an article, of a shell that then compels the best of us to be articulated through our speech, our actions, through our words. And I think everything, including a t-shirt, is a slow sublimation of the true effort that we make. I find myself in many cases slipping in a way as if I'm taking on my own tattoo, to a degree even in the use of running shoes, because I know they feel comfortable, but I don't think in the long run I should be wearing them anywhere that isn't on a run. And yet I catch myself. And to a degree, these are all degrees of tattoos, I think, because they are suggesting to every lazy person that I've expressed myself, but golly gee whiz, I have not. And I'm all the more hidden for the greater ease that I seem to gain. So you're absolutely right. And you talked about even in the greatest heat of having to wear a jacket. And that is something that we have really lost. We talk about hats, but I think the loss of the jacket for the man is a real great loss.
Oh, incredible great loss. I was speaking to you about a young 17-year-old pianist I was listening to, and he comes in and he's in every way, youth and fine looking young boy, and he's going to play the Chopin Polonaise in A flat, and he has a beautiful suit on, but with the same tennis shoes that you see outside. Everyone now must wear.
Yes.
It's not like no, those are great. I love them.
These are shoes,
Yeah,
yes.
these are
Mhm,
shoes,
mhm.
shoes. But these tennis shoes,
Yeah.
I invented the tennis shoe myself,
Mhm.
in 1910 or something. And no, I mean, it's incredible. And the way they look, and some of them are like, they seem to be 10 pounds,
Yes,
and they look awkward. And here's a boy in a beautiful black suit,
yeah,
wearing everything perfectly, and he's wearing tennis shoes.
yes.
And I don't mean tennis shoes by tennis players of,
Yes.
1940 or something,
Mhm.
where they were dressed elegantly,
Mhm.
even on the field. No, I think that all of this is a part of the terrifying decline
Mhm.
which has taken away art,
Mhm.
and that is why we have no life.
Mhm.
To go back to our title, we do not have life because we do not have art. I'm not talking about making it, but absolutely trying to perceive what is great about something that everyone has agreed on, and yet no one gives any time to.
Mhm.
Where is our time gone? I don't know. That's another topic.
Yes.
But going back to that idea of shoes, it looked so incongruous for the boy to be wearing these crazy looking shoes and wearing an elegant looking apparel.
Did you mention it to him?
No.
Mhm.
No, I never would mention it to him because it would embarrass him.
Mm.
And possibly it's his only way of, certainly he's not an American, so he still has what I wear at all times outside, some sort of real jacket.
Yes. Mhm.
I would not ever be outside, no matter what temperature, without a real jacket, which I could button,
Mhm.
open, put my wallet in, my iPhone, God help me, and
Well, see, that's because your self-conception is a work, and we've talked about the life being the work, and it means because you are donning the jacket, you are prepared to present the work that is you at all times.
yes, I am the work.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm the work of art, but everyone that feels that indeed has behind them the understanding of what a work of art is.
Mm.
Even if it's not used in their
Mhm.
daily life, it's going to be there within what we call now, and we're making it a very famous phrase, the flair level of the
Yes.
human being. If you get up in the morning and you don't step in the scale to see how much weight you are, you better get on the next scale, which is far more important, to see how your flair level is doing
Yes.
today. Oh, I had a very bad dream, I feel terrible. Oh my God, your flair level's gonna go down.
Mhm.
You've got to get that flair level near 100.
Now, David, in thinking about flair
Mhm.
and thinking about being perpetually prepared to present the work that is
Yeah,
the
you've
self,
got to present yourself to the world.
what do you make of the phrase of Thoreau that one should beware all enterprises that require new clothes?
One should be aware of enterprises that require new clothes.
That's a paraphrase, but
Yeah.
it's close.
What does it really mean? I don't know what it means to you. I'm not sure what it means. I'm going to get some new clothes. When I was 13 or 14, I got a corduroy suit.
Mm.
I liked it because it wasn't looking new, you
Mhm.
see.
Yeah.
And I put it on. It had a olive green color, which I liked, and I was extremely excited to present it to the world. So it was
Mhm.
new clothing.
Yes.
But usually new clothing, of course, is uncomfortable,
Mhm.
and you're not comfortable enough yet to wear it in public.
Yes, I think that's what, to a degree, he means, or perhaps affecting to wear something that will somehow sublimate the self. Whereas I guess he means that if we wear the clothes in which we're most comfortable, we're also doing the things that we also feel
Yes,
we're most comfortable doing.
yes.
But, see, that's what's so important about what you do. You have made it moot as to whether or not the jacket is absolutely new or not. You have made the habit an old habit, regardless whether the jacket is new or not. So perhaps what we need to lobby for is the virtue of old habits or elevated habits. And the sign of the sneakers on the fellow who was playing, and he was playing the piano at the time he was doing that,
Mhm.
is remarkable, because you're right, one never fails to see everything when one's watching a performance. I remember probably the most interesting fact that I ever gleaned during thousands of hours sitting as a rehearsal pianist in theater rehearsals was watching a director look at the tableau of scenes in which there were lots of people to be blocked, and reminding every one of them who was not one of the principals of the line that there's someone in the audience who's looking at you. And I'm wondering how a pianist, and you say this fellow was very sensitized on so many levels, what the notion of having that one slight off-kilter thing would mean.
Could have been, he's in America,
Mm.
he sees all of his contemporaries wearing the same thing. Everything's the same, you see.
Yeah.
The standardized look of those things, no matter who was the company that made them, is just terrible.
Yes, rebellion is standardized now, so it is no
yes,
rebellion.
Yes, oh yes.
Yeah.
Rebellion is standardized. Oh, it's the standardization that is killing us.
Mhm.
Everything the same. Everything is truly so boring. Isaac Singer, Bashevis Singer said, we die much more of monotony
Mhm.
and boredom than we die of diseases.
Yes.
I mean, the people are just begging for a leader like we have.
Mhm.
And it's become not an intellectual or an intelligent or a dumb, but an absolute, indescribably idiotic mass movement.
Mhm.
And a mass movement, like all mobs,
Mhm.
are terrifying.
Mm.
But we're living in terrifying times. And if you don't think so, just look at the gun deaths
Mm.
of a nation that's supposed to be civilized, that has so many millions of guns, far more than the immense population of America, which is,
Mhm.
very big problem. This population is nearly 400 million.
Now, David, what do you make of the poetic notion, however, of the idea of an armament in the history of the notion of the supremacy of the individual? If we take, for example, Emerson's "By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flags to April's breeze unfurled, here once the embattled farmers stood and fired the shot heard round the world." And of course, the reason that ascends into poetry is not only because we know of what the Constitution enshrines around the time that he's celebrating and singing of, but that the farmers themselves that put that into motion at that bridge in Concord, Massachusetts, are only standing there because the English are coming to deplete their arsenal. Do you think there's a line where the abstraction of that has room, notwithstanding the destructive element, when a madman or an uneducated man or a chaotic or an unkind person has a gun in hand? Can you reconcile those two?
I don't know. Can you reconcile it? I don't know.
In the end, no. I know it's funny, I talk a lot about Superman, and I've always loved those 4 Superman movies that Christopher Reeve made, and always felt that those were the apotheosis.
Did you see the new one?
I did not, and I would
Oh
not.
my God.
Hmm.
This is our American mythology. We're still doing Superman, but now with such horror in it that we can't believe it.
It doesn't have the high ethos
Oh, it
to
has
it.
nothing. It has nothing. It's just ridiculous.
And the reason I mentioned the Christopher Reeve Superman is that in the last film, and as mostly happens when movies or serials go on, they deteriorate. But the last one has a tremendous last line.
Mm.
When the villain asks Superman what's going to come of the earth, because the villain's plan would have consumed him too by the end of this movie, Superman's answer is simply this: the world is where it's always been, on the brink with good fighting evil. Do you think that also might be the case, that if you and I were in a time machine, we would feel we were in the worst of times no matter where we would go?
I think that right now, spiritually speaking, within almost all
Whoops, it's okay. We can let that go. You can just leave it, David, because it'll stop. And then... It's all right. Well, in a sense, we're talking about tattoos, and in a way, the cell phone has become a kind of tattoo, in the sense that its sound, its presence is unavoidable. And I'll concede it's a tattoo that I have adopted. I can't seem to put it aside. I try to put it away, but then I'm always afraid by not participating, the one little thing that I'll need will slip in, and then I'll miss it. And I'm wondering maybe that's what people are afraid with the tattoo, that there's something that they'll miss if they don't compromise in the prevailing flow.
I just don't know. These things are so deeply societally troubled that I also believe that in all directions, even including medical, keeping alive people to be bored to such a degree. They were never trained as early to have the love of art or to keep playing the piano if they're not arthritic or whatever, or violin. I think that they're going crazy watching these commercials on TV, telling them alone, how sick they are and how many side effects you're going to have. One of the great revolutions that must come if we're going to go further, and we are at the lowest point we've ever been in history.
Okay, so
never
that
been
is,
in any country.
So your reply to Superman is that he's wrong.
Oh, Superman is quite wrong.
Okay.
That was fine even up to 1975 when that movie was put out.
Okay.
No, we are living now in hell, and it can only get worse until we make a personal rebellion to at least live our lives out without watching television commercials or constantly eating the worst stuff or buying things we don't need. Or dying in poverty, as so many old people now do. You have a city like New York, all you do is just get on the 104 bus and you will see that every stop will bring in a person with the, no, I look at them and I say, hey, that's me, of course, but I would say, I'm so sorry that I've interrupted you for 5 minutes. You see, you can't go anywhere because everyone is crippled. So they're living too long, much too long, without anything to do. This alone is a major problem for a huge population like China, with 1,900,000,000, and that's really it. Not much less, as they like to tell you. India is now surpassing them. I mean, where are they having these babies from?
It does seem...
They can't feed them even. They can't educate them. Why are you doing this to yourself?
It does seem the result of an over-secularized and over-democratized society that no longer sees the value of death.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
They don't understand what death is. They want to live another hour, no matter what the pain. What are they seeing? A commercial? What are they looking at? Another drug to keep them going for another hour? To look again at their tattoo, which will...
Yes.
Okay, I don't think we're talking in extremes at all.
No, not at all.
I think that there are many people that want to be able to talk like this, but they can't do it because their children won't understand them. And as you notice, in the politically correct world, you can't be negative about anything. It's as if, gee, you're such a downer. I love those little words that make, everyone, you're a downer. I mean, why are you so pessimistic? I'm never pessimistic. I am of the what is.
Yes.
I'm right here.
Well, again, there are things that are sanctified pessimisms that one can have now, and those are fine. But,
What are they?
well, I would say usually, to a degree, it sounds like I'm going to cite the very things that you were saying. But you have maybe even noticed in our conversations, I usually, maybe even to a degree of affectation, dodge current events when I speak.
Mm-hmm.
I do it because for the most part, and you had mentioned this about certain even comedians that you admire.
Oh,
that,
Bill Maher, yes.
Yes, that they
wasting his time.
They date themselves when they could produce a work if they were to address things that have a more perhaps lasting or immortal substance. But that if you're always addressing the immediate moment, most of that work is lost. And I think most people don't really use their freedom. I think we're as free as we've ever been, but people feel that by being aware of current events to a degree, because we're all taught that by our teachers, that unless you're aware and look at the paper, who knows what will happen, with the old idea that, if good people do nothing, that's when the worst things happen. At the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, I often think too many people are doing that. And they're not, in a sense, addressing what art they could produce, even if it's only the most modest thing. And hence we have a whole mob that's waiting to address the passing moment all the time, but never whatever could be within their reach that would be far more immortal. So hence, yes, we have these sometimes talented comedians who are always addressing current events, and yet, of course, that'll be lost when we watch old. Nothing enchants me more than old-time radio when I'll hear the Shadow. But sometimes I find it's the comedies that wear the poorest when I hear them again. Always was fond of Bob Hope, but when I hear occasionally maybe 50% of the material will become dated. I can pick up.
And their material had a universality to it compared to
Yes,
today.
that's what I mean.
Oh my God.
So it has to be
and
very.
They have the same comedian on let's say HBO every night. Some oversized creature
Yes.
talking about only 2 or 3 words. The words.
I do, yeah.
And oh gosh, yes, I'm just one of these fat gay boys or something like that. Over and over.
Over and again, yeah.
You turn it on every day. This man is on. Why?
I don't know.
There's no programming anymore. They're not giving any money to anything. You put it on, you just saw that, or you saw it 10 years ago. And there's nothing new. So to me, even watching something that's bad a little bit twice, I go crazy.
Yes.
I start pointing out things that I've never even seen before that are so hideous.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
God, I don't know what we're in for, and I want to say that the first great rebellion must come from each of us denying the watching of all of this nonsense. Yes, I know that Bill Maher is talented, and I say, yes, everything he says I've thought. Yes, of course, he must, we would love to know me because I could, write the whole thing for him right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, in fact, David, you know that, of course, another of the great watchwords today is the abuse and the overuse of the word narcissism. As if we are surrounded by people who are engaged in themselves. Nothing could be further from the truth.
No, they're never engaged with
They're
themselves.
not. In a sense, we live in the most un-narcissistic society because everyone is looking outward to a few simple childish models.
Yeah.
And if we really had genuine narcissists, we'd be much better off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can no longer watch Bill because I am not any interested in what happened this week.
Yeah.
Or if so on the Late Show denounced someone being killed or something. I mean, it's over. It has no meaning, and all of the people have disparate views on it anyway because they are so extreme. They're so ridiculous. They're all sleeping with Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go on like this.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to do with the cliche of bringing the nation together.
Mm-hmm.
What nation? There's no country here any longer. Don't you know that, people?
Mm.
And the only country is you.
Well, yes, again, there's that
You're
great.
a vast country.
I think both Carlyle and Emerson both reference the idea of the undiscovered Americas within. And I think the external America is all the more strong when people are autonomous. I think that's the reason we spend so much time talking about the real underlying fascination for the war between the states and Moby Dick. All of those trends in the 19th century are a ruling passion about self-rule.
Yes, yes.
And I guess if we think about where we began, the tattoo is the emblem of surrendering self-rule.
Emblem. It's a true surrender of self-rule.
Mhm.
My God, to imagine walking outside with something on your cheek,
Yes.
or your face, or your
Mhm.
forehead, or your ass. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of human being would want to have such a unindividual style? Meaning you cannot ever have a flare level. You have destroyed it.
Yes.
The flare level being your marvelous inner personality that is let loose
Mm-hmm.
to make mistakes, to talk, to say what they want. You know, this First Amendment stuff is great. There's only really one amendment to the Constitution that has any meaning at all. It's the First Amendment. Well, if you're going to have a law, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any laws either, but that's a good one.
Mhm.
So the First Amendment says, you know, we have this television performer, not very funny,
Mm-hmm.
not very interesting, not interesting to look at. And I'm sure a nice man, and I certainly would like to make his money. I need it. But what does he mean? What is he saying? I heard it and it had no meaning at all, as if it's over with. It will never again have any meaning,
Mhm.
because there is no meaning in our time
Mhm.
to something like a television ephemera.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to read a book every day,
Mm-hmm.
2 a week complete.
Mm-hmm.
Am I a dictator? No, I thought I was a very liberal teacher, giving tremendous grades to people that did not deserve them.
That's a whole other topic, David, that I'm sure we could spend a lot of time on. What
Oh,
goes,
my God,
goes through one's mind in assigning grades, because I would think the students would be horrified. I know when I had the few times that I had classes in colleges, notwithstanding the pretense at having a system, how we award those grades based on the real intangible things that a person broadcasts.
Mhm.
And maybe
Mhm.
it's unjust, but sometimes we have to reward those intangibles. And I would just say,
and I
look,
did, and
yes,
I did.
and we have to. And I think that if only all the students knew that that's really principally the only way they can be assigned.
Absolutely. And if only the student knew that because he came every time, I would know that he was interested in what I was saying.
See, David, it's amazing.
So he's
Yes.
an A already.
Yes.
What do I care about him doing some idiotic assignment that just comes out of my syllabistic mind?
Yes, I
That
know.
I'm told that I have to have a syllabus.
Mhm.
As Jacques Barzun of Columbia, a great scholar,
Mm,
said,
mhm.
he said, if they ask you for a syllabus, quit the position.
That's wonderful, because
And
those
he
are-
was the great dean of Columbia.
Yes. Because that's the mania for the syllabus. So long as it's sent in,
Well, the syllabus is
And
not
that
to
the
be
students
believed.
have a copy of it.
Taking away all creativity and spontaneity from the great teacher. And, you know, the
Yeah.
great teacher cannot be a great teacher unless he has that ability to be free. And I don't mean not to be responsible, because
Mhm.
a teacher has a lot of easy minds that he can capture.
Mhm.
And we don't need any of that. We have that on TV alone,
Mhm.
or all this junk on the
Mhm.
it's a terrorist thing called the internet.
Oh, yes,
Get rid of that internet.
Well,
Are we on the internet?
we are.
Okay, keep us and get
Okay.
rid of everything.
Well, the syllabus is to a degree a tattoo of the college.
The college,
Yes.
we can't get our so-and-so thing from the institution that guides every one of these Eastern Seaboard, whatever.
Yes.
Okay, so I will invent a syllabus in a 5-second,
Mhm.
and I will dictate it to my assistant,
Mhm.
and he will say, "You really gonna do all of this?"
Mhm.
Of course I will. I will be doing all of it and far more.
Yes.
But when I need to, for the moment,
Mhm.
these are treasured young minds that I must help continue living with art.
And yes, because the true syllabus would emerge from the true teacher who would be offering an abstract syllabus that will always be larger than can ever be covered in 4 months.
Mhm.
I'm thinking of a line from a book of Joseph Campbell, or at least a remark that was transcribed of his, where a student challenged him during the course of a semester and saying, I can't keep up with this reading, because it was so enormous what he was suggesting and what he was referencing. And I always thought the response was remarkable. And his answer was, I'm amazed that you tried. You have your whole life to do the reading. And that's the kind
Great,
of...
that's
yeah.
so great, so important.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a whole topic, this amazing thing called teaching
Mhm.
in the hands of absolute incompetence most of the time, or academics who are, worried about moving up until they get their tenure. Well,
Yes.
what would you want to stay there your whole life anyway?
Yes, that's another thing.
Oh, God.
Because isn't it usually thought to be in bad form for a student sometimes to get their degree in the same place? In other words, I used to be told that it's always better maybe if you get your bachelor's one place to get your master's somewhere else.
Mhm.
So I'm always amazed sometimes that, as you just suggested, that a professor wouldn't think the same thing. Why would one want to suddenly become a barnacle on the ship of one particular Ivy wall?
Let's go back to our great idol called Liszt. If there was a bad performance in the master class, which cost nothing,
Mhm.
he gave no degrees, he didn't give a certificate that you were studying with Franz Liszt,
Yes.
or an artist diploma. How
Right.
could you have a diploma with a name artist on it? And
Yes.
Liszt would say, I would think that it's better if you go over to the conservatory and study rather than play here.
Yes. Yes, imagine Liszt having to present from a computer printout a syllabus or a course outline in September in Weimar.
Telling him he can't play Scott Joplin.
Yes, an whole number of things.
Oh, yeah.
Or what is it? We were talking about the Opus 49. Is it the 49?
Yeah, Opus 70,
Oh,
79,
yes.
we talked about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and we discussed the fact that, at certain school, you can't play a Weber sonata. A Weber sonata?
Yeah.
One of the hallmarks of early romanticism,
Yeah.
you can't play a Weber sonata. Okay, I can understand that none of the teachers have ever heard of Dussek,
Mm.
basically the father of
Mhm.
public piano playing.
Mhm.
But, okay, I don't expect much of these teachers.
Mhm.
I invited them to come to my classes.
Mhm.
In 25 years at the Manhattan School of Music, not one person once, in 25 years, I never missed the master class I gave,
Mhm.
came to hear me and was just, I didn't know this was happening.
Mm. Mhm.
I said, these master classes are indispensable to these people's future
Mhm.
because they had no rules,
Mhm.
no principles behind them except play and learn from whatever I can give to you. And I
Mhm.
thought I could give a great deal,
Mhm.
and found out that nobody cared in the
Mm.
administration.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's, you see, something that the gifted teacher has to live with. Virgil Thompson called teaching at a college the taint of pedagogy.
Mhm. That's a great phrase.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I think we've done
Mhm.
a lot of work, about
We
an
have.
hour.
Mhm.
Every one of our times together
Mhm.
have been illuminating to me. You've always taught me something whenever you're
For
with
me,
me. And
David.
by the way, the idea of teaching to me means nothing. It's the envelopment of that moment of being with someone who's enthusiastic
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
not only, because the word learning, all of that's a very little shady with me.
It is, yes.
Yeah, going to school is a little shady to me,
Yes.
But I understand how conformist we are and how much I am a conformist as well in 1,000 ways. So Jack,
Well,
So good to be with you again.
David, the pleasure is mine, more than I can say.
Thank you very much for listening. This is David Duval. Please listen to my radio show and have a good time.
Mhm. Thank you, David.
You have a good time, Jack.
I will. Thank you, David. This was our 20th episode.
It's an anniversary
Yes.
episode. Jack Cole, David Duval.